Time for the Premier League Preview Show right here on Facebook Live on City TV. My name is Nathan Quao, and the show proudly brought to you by Premium Bank and Betway, and proudly supported by Vodafone and Guinness. So we are in the middle of a match week. Last night was part 1 of match week 17. Tonight is part 2 of match week 17, and over the weekend, match week 18. Benjamin Nketsia is with me. Hi, Ben.
Yep.
Today we are the men in black. Black jersey, black shirt.
Black.
Or black.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll just pause here. We'll just take a short break. When we come back, we unpack everything and we get going. It's a Premier League Preview Show live. Don't go anywhere. We are back shortly. All right, we are back as a Premier League Preview Show live every Wednesday. So like I always say, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend to tell your other friends to tune in, because this is where it all happens. We are the home of the Premier League right here in Ghana. Ben, let's go back to yesterday night. And there were three games really. Yeah. Two very exciting, one a bit more routine if you look at what Burnley are doing these days. Let's start off with Huddersfield and Chelsea. After the highs of beating Man United, Huddersfield have struggled to get anything going. And last night, Chelsea went there and laid down the law. David Wagner's men lost 3-1.
I mean, routine win for them. I expected them to do nothing less. I'm just a little surprised by the whole Bakayoko is back. Bakayoko silences critics. I'm a bit more taken aback by all the praise singing just after one decent performance. And let's not get carried away. It was Huddersfield Town. This was not a Manchester United or a Manchester City or a Liverpool. So he's expected to do well against such teams. If I asked half the people who are whining about his comeback performance to name who his opponent numbers were on the night, there will be a head scratching. So again, let's not get carried away with one performance. I think that Chelsea as a club really need to feed into that tune I'm singing right now, not to get carried away by performances of this nature, because these are not the sort of games that define the league. And Chelsea have never had the difficulties of other teams where they cannot navigate such encounters. So it was a routine win for them. It was much needed as well. So, I mean, nothing short of what I was expecting.
So Chelsea picking up 3 points. Eden Hazard ran the show, while Willian, Pedro and Timo Bakayoko getting the goals. But they couldn't get a clean sheet, though. Too bad for the Blues. But let's get to London and let's talk about Crystal Palace. And I think that their season is a very fascinating one. A season that started off in complete disarray, got worse and worse, brought in Roy Hodgson. Last night encapsulated everything they have been through as a team. They came back from a goal down in 2 minutes, from 1-0 down to win 2-1 against highly fancied Watford.
Yeah, seeing daylight for the first time this season, actually. So the first time this season, they actually emerged from the relegation rank. So they have finally managed to put other teams back in their stead. So it should be good. I'm impressed with the work Roy Hodgson has done so far, especially on the defensive end. So before he came in, Crystal Palace were letting in goals for fun. And in their last 4 encounters, they managed to keep 3 clean sheets. Before in their last game, Christian Benteke wasted a penalty,
Yeah.
that would obviously have handed them a massive 3 points. But you can just tell that nerves are settled at the club now. They seem to have a better idea of what they are doing now. The play style has been defined. The team is not going into matches thinking that is this just going to be another pummeling where we are going to be nailed even harder to the ground of the relegation floor. But now there's a little more optimism about them. You can tell that when they go into games, they have a clear mind that they can actually go toe-to-toe with opponents and emerge with something.
And you can see that players are even taking more responsibility. Wilfred Zaha now really wants to lead this team, and he's not bothered by the work, and he's working every minute, every second, even down the stretch towards the end of games, and he's leading them to points.
I mean, Wilfred Zaha, this is an interesting phase in his career as a footballer, because in the past, he's been slated and he's been tagged as nothing more than a showboater or somebody who's interested in nothing but the flamboyance of the game. Now, he's taken it a step further. He's realized that he cannot just be all about showboating. He needs to have end product to his game. And for him to think that this is a team where, I mean, a few months down the line, you would have pinpointed a Christian Benteke, or maybe even a few years down the line, a Johan Kabay as the leader of the team.
Looks like Zaha's the main man.
Obviously, ability doesn't lie, and numbers don't lie either. The leading guy when it comes to take-ons in the Premier League is obviously the one who wants to lead Crystal Palace. And I say this, that when Zaha gets to the full extent of his powers, look, this guy will create at least 10 penalties for his team. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. That's how tricky he is. That's how agile he is.
When you see him play like this, now assuming he sustains this form, adds a few more goals, Palace get into a good place and they survive, and teams start calling him and say, Mr. Zaha, you need to move it up. Would you tell him to take the chance once again? Because it didn't work out at United. A few months back, we heard rumors of Spurs showing interest. Assuming he gets to that form and he's in the form of his life and teams come calling again, should he be ready to leave, or he should tell himself, this is my team, I should stay with them?
That's a very interesting question. If I was Wilfred Zaha, what would I do? I mean, first of all, you need to work your way into that type of form to start with. And it's form he's very capable of. Will I want to move? Depending on the magnitude of the team coming. If it's a team that are regarded as a global power, I'm definitely moving. A Man United, a Chelsea,
Spurs,
a Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, I'm definitely moving. If it's more of a has-been, maybe say an AC Milan, maybe you could pinpoint maybe a Bayer Leverkusen, I won't.
Okay.
I feel that those teams might have more clout than Crystal Palace in terms of global presence, but Crystal Palace definitely have financial power that can match those teams. And look, there's nothing better than knowing week in, week out as a winger and as a player that you are the first name on the coach's team sheet when the starting lineup is scored. It's a brilliant feeling to have, and I think that he's just starting off with his leadership thing. He needs to continue with it. He needs to grow in it. I'm not moving anywhere for now if it's not a move to any global super.
Imagine if he hadn't switched nationalities and he played some fantastic football.
He would definitely have been playing for England. I look at the wingers England have, and Zaha would definitely be in there. There's no two ways
Zaha's
about it.
Cote d'Ivoire did not make it there. Morocco made it to the World Cup, so they are the ones who are going there. Wolf Zaha, fantastic form is in. But tonight, there are some very fascinating games. Very, very good ones. There's Man United at home to Bournemouth. United are hoping to recover from that 2-1 loss in the derby. There's Swansea who are welcoming Manchester City. And Ben, some people say it's suicide, really, for Swansea City at this point. You cannot take on Manchester City and expect to get anything.
Nothing good is going to come out of that game. Nothing. It's only going to be
just another reminder
confidence crushing, head scratching.
Should Swansea get rid of their manager?
No, they should not. They should get better players.
Better players.
Their manager has done as well as any other manager could have done with these crop of players. And I've been saying it over and over again. These are championship caliber players. These are not are not Premier League caliber players.
Don't have it.
So Swansea City, really, it's a few things. Either they decided that they would plow back the profits from the Sigurdsson transfer and maybe pay off
40 or so,
pay off debts, cover club operations and whatnot with the money instead of investing in the squad, because they haven't made credible investments enough for them to expect anything. That's the reality on the ground. If they ever feel like they're in a crisis and they ever get into that boardroom, they should lock themselves up and ask themselves a few hard questions. That when we got the Sigurdsson money, players we bought, and the players who are representing us out there, are they better than any of the opponents we go up against? The plain answer is no. And the truth is that I think Swansea will get relegated this season.
Well, Swansea have been toying with relegation. Maybe this season could be when they go down. There's Newcastle welcoming Everton. Everton have been in good form. They got a point last week in the derby, won a few days earlier. We'll see what happens with them at Newcastle. Southampton will take on Leicester. And it's the showdown of two English forwards, Jamie Vardy versus Charlie Austin. Austin has scored 4 in 3.
Yeah.
And when you see him play like this, and assuming at the end of the season he has good numbers, should Gareth Southgate look at him and say, this guy is the outside option maybe I need at the World Cup?
I mean, it's possible. It's possible, especially if you look at the fact that it's tricky for England. Because, look, if as much as we might talk about both Vardy and Austin and all those guys, I still don't think that England have star quality at the strike position.
What's Harry Kane?
Well,
the problem with England is that apart from there's Harry Kane,
he's still yet to really blossom on the national stage. He's shown star potential.
I think the problem with England is those who play behind Kane. Because at Spurs he's got.
But what happens if Harry Kane gets injured?
That's a big question.
Exactly, because I cannot trust that any of the players they have will be able to step into his shoes in big moments. And let's not forget that he himself, like you're saying, in the England context, has not proven himself yet. So it's interesting. But
I mean, the Euros was horrible for everybody.
But
anyway,
but for Jamie Vardy, it's interesting. I think that he's still growing as a player.
He's 29 or 30.
Yeah, he's still growing as a player. He's a late bloomer. I mean, we didn't see a lot of the 21-year-old to 25-year-old Jamie Vardy. This is what we have to work with. And I mean, in the beginning, I thought he was nothing but a speed demon. He's turned out to be a lot more than that. His finishing has improved. You won't believe it, but his finishing almost seems to improve by the game. His game-making decisions tend to improve by the game, and I feel.
And he's a hard worker.
Exactly, my point. He's quite an asset. The way he plays, he looks to me like somebody who goes back and watches videos of himself after he's done with matches. Like, oh, I was running the channel this way this time. Maybe it makes more sense to run this way the other time. He just has that feel about him, and I think that with him in the boat, if Leicester City continue to see out games that are tight, he's definitely one of those guys you could pinpoint and say this guy will get us a winner.
Well, Liverpool will be at home to West Brom. Like I said, Man United at home to Bournemouth. Tottenham will host Brighton. And for those who play Fantasy League, you're hoping Harry Kane will be harvesting the goals in sacks tonight. But our star game, Ben, tonight happens at the East London Stadium. It's West Ham taking on Arsenal. London derby is great. It's traditional. The fans love it. But West Ham, after last week's Sunday against Chelsea, will feel very high on confidence, and they look at Arsenal and say that maybe we can just get one over these guys.
Trust me, 2 victories over 2 London rivals will be fantastic. that will almost feel as if the season
Moyes will be driven through the city. You know?
He might as well have
drop top, confetti
on him and everything, because look, 2 back-to-back victories against Chelsea and Arsenal, nobody would have.
What worked for West Ham last week? They scored the goal very early. They decided to defend. Chelsea couldn't get anything, and West Ham got 3 points.
Attitude generally. They chased everything on the pitch. Everything. Went after every ball, closed down every man, went after every 50-50 possession, and ensured that Chelsea would not feel at home enough to play their game. That's what it was. They just threw Chelsea out of their game plan. And you could tell that there were times within that game where Antonio Conte persistently appeared on the touchline and wanted to retool his team, wanted to reset his team, wanted to tell them, look, calm down and remember what we practiced on the training ground. West Ham just wouldn't let them settle on their game, and that's exactly
but can they do that against Arsenal? We saw Arsenal picking up a point against Southampton. They persisted, and then found the option through Olivier Giroud, who is likely to start off the bench again tonight.
Well, two things make a difference. In that game against Chelsea barely created any clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity. That's how good Ogbonna and Winston Reid were on the day. They basically allowed Chelsea to feed on nothing but scraps. And you get the sense that Arsenal will be open, so West Ham could definitely attack them, but Arsenal will have more of the possession. They will not be as possession shy as Chelsea was. Chelsea at times appeared tentative when they had the ball. Quickly they would give the ball away. Arsenal are a bit more comfortable in possession, especially even when you think that they are in uncomfortable areas of the pitch, the side corner, the touchline, they can still pass their way out of those tough positions. And if Lacazette will be on this early goal scoring form again, West Ham will have a few issues, because I think that Arsenal will come into this game looking to get an early goal and then looking to settle and then to play their game. So West Ham will probably want to guard against that. I don't know if they're going to park the bus, but they really they need to find out a way of preventing Arsenal from getting comfortable on the ball.
So that game is live tonight on City 97.3 at 8 p.m. So join us. I'll be here with the rest of the gang. Benjamin Nketsia and the rest of the guys will be here as well. But this weekend is interesting. There are so many good games, Ben. This weekend there's Leicester City versus Palace. Assuming Palace gets a good game.
Yeah.
They got a good game.
Yeah.
They won last night.
Yeah.
They are going to Leicester. I'm sure they'll be feeling very good about themselves.
It's a game they can win. And I mean, on paper, this is a game of equals. But I asked myself about Leicester, and they've done really well in recent times, especially in the dying minutes of matches. So they've possibly been one of the most productive teams this season in the last 10 minutes of games. So Crystal Palace will have to guard.
Must be feeding them something.
Exactly. Crystal Palace will have to guard against lack of concentration or
But Palace themselves have been very productive in the last 10 minutes in the last few weeks.
Especially from dead ball situations. So it's a game of equals for me. It could go either way, but whoever has the momentum on their side heading into that fixture, I think will nick it.
We'll see. There's Arsenal taking on Newcastle. Rafa Benitez's men are sliding horribly down the table, and it could be a very long season for them. But Ben, it looks like our star game of the weekend happens at the Etihad. It's Manchester City taking on Tottenham Hotspur. Wow, it's Saturday at 5:30 p.m. It's a game that all the rest of that chasing pack wants Spurs to win.
Exactly. They need to win.
But we've seen Manchester City and this crazy determination of not wanting to give anything away, especially when the games are tied and they are heading, towards the end. Or in terms of basketball, I would say towards the stretch.
You know what I think? I think that teams have been soft with Manchester City this season. The kind of football that they play, if you try to park the bus or you try to go with the flow and have your DMs or your defenders build by way of interception and counters, you could be waiting all game long and it won't happen.
That won't happen.
I think that teams need to go out there and exert brute force on Manchester City.
Brute force?
Guys like David Silva, yes. You need to give them the roughing up. When he has the ball and he's making those rounds around you, you need to kick him in the ankles. You need to allow.
Wow.
Exactly my point. I'm not necessarily talking dirty here, but I'm saying that
you need to let them know you are in the game.
In the past, that is the approach I have seen always work against Pep Guardiola teams. Why? His players are relatively always smaller as compared to other players.
Okay.
His players are always more delicate. David Silva is a weakling. Let's not be honest. He's one of those guys who I thought wouldn't be able to play in the Premier League until he buffed up a little. It appears that he has adapted his game to the Premier League and is always under the armpits of guys, always weaving his way through. You need to let these guys know that you are around. And
but
that's
Spurs
the kind of
they don't have a lot of that. I mean,
they keep playing the midfield pivot of Harry Winks and Dembele, which doesn't work for me. Wanyama would have been a perfect player for this.
So you play a 3-man midfield or a 2-man midfield. So Dembele doing the hatchet job.
One anchor man, one box-to-box midfielder, possibly an advanced playmaker.
Yeah.
So it's.
And why do you stuff Eriksen in there just behind Harry?
On the right wing. He's been playing on the right wing in recent times. So stick him on the right wing. Let the left wing be handled by others. But they need steel in that midfield. They need physical force in that game. They need to throw Manchester City off their game. They need to let Manchester City throw up their hands in frustration, look at the referee a few times and say, why are we not getting these calls? Frustration, get your goal. Sometimes it's not just about just the on the pitch stuff. You need to get in the heads of your opponent. As it seems to me now, nobody has been able to do that. In that game between Man City and Manchester United,
in the derby,
they came to Old Trafford feeling like the home side, bullish, passing the ball around.
And you're saying teams shouldn't allow them to do it?
It shouldn't be allowed to happen. Once they get in that sort of groove, in their heads, they have already defeated you.
Okay.
And we've seen that even in the final stretch of games, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, they seem convinced that there's no way they aren't leaving the stadium with 3 points. And that's basically because of that sort of conviction.
Okay.
Teams just let them get too comfortable and in their zone, and when they get in their zone, it's over.
We'll see. So Spurs, you have the playbook from Benjamin Nketsia. rough Manchester City up, but can you do it without the cards? We know how the Premier League referees get card happy. They are very, very quick to lay down the law. But the other games on Sunday, there's West Brom taking on Man United, and then it's Alan Pardew versus Jose Mourinho, and West Brom sometimes do get Man United's number, but they will have to try and dig deeper because United themselves, depending on what happens tonight, want to start a revival to see if catching Manchester City is possible.
In Alan Pardew's previous things as Crystal Palace manager and as Newcastle manager, Jose Mourinho is still yet to do one over Alan Pardew. So he's one guy who actually knows how to map out tactics to face Jose Mourinho. Yeah. So Mourinho would be foolish to think that this is an easy game. He would be foolish to think that this is a game that will be more straightforward than some of the encounters they've had. And for Alan Pardew, I always say this again, he keeps it simple. And that's the best thing you can do as a manager who has inherited inherited a team you don't know.
Yes.
Keep it simple. Simple systems, simple formations, simple instructions on the day. Playing Manchester United, a team that have been bashed in recent times for not attacking enough. Guess what? They've lost a derby. They are wounded. They will feel as if they need to come out and prove a point.
Maybe that could be where West Brom would capitalize. Yeah.
Sit back and counter. Sit back and counter. Those are the players West Brom have are suited to that type of play anyway. So that's what they should be doing in that game. Any attempt to jab with Manchester United, and we could see the 4-0 or the 4 scoreline returning again.
So Bournemouth taking on Liverpool. That's on Sunday at 4:30. Monday Night Football is back. It's Everton taking on Swansea City. That should be an exciting one. Those games always turn out to be the crackers and the ones that give us the fantastic headlines. And on Tuesday night, the Carabao Cup returns. It's Leicester City versus Manchester City. Will Pep shake up his team? What will happen to Claude Puel's side? They also come into it on the back of the league game. All right, let's just take a short break. When we come back, I'll go through the messages, so many of them, and then I'll be asking Ben for specific predictions. We'll see if the octopus, if the prophet in him will rise to the surface and give us a good batch of predictions. You're still watching the Premier League Preview Show live on Facebook, live on CCTV. My name is Nathan Quao. We are back shortly. Don't go anywhere.
They'll go with the 4-4-2 diamond formation for that early lead.
An early goal will settle the nerves.
The away team has been in bad form. They will feel the pressure.
The home side's kept 2 clean sheets in a row.
It's all about momentum.
Who will have the stamina to last the 90 minutes?
The star striker is suspended.
They've got no kappa.
The marking will be tight.
This will be won or lost in the midfield.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. Betway, for the love of the game.
Inside the last minute of the opening 45 here. And,
Scores.
1.
Who? Red. Red? Blue.
Scores! What a way to finish the first half!
Scores.
Halftime.
Scores!
dream, we play. We are fire in our hearts. We are made of black.
Namaste.
Hell's down heaven now, living in the same town, trying to find something new. This ain't right, it's no good, no good.
Hello, I'm home. Hello. Jumbo.
Going through the same things.
Hi, welcome back to the Premier League Preview Show live on City TV, live on Facebook. My name is Nathan Quao. We are wrapping up. So this is where I throw the games at Ben and he will dig deep to find the oracle hidden somewhere. Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, let's start off. Leicester versus Crystal Palace on Saturday.
Leicester Crystal Palace. 2-1 Leicester.
2-1 Leicester. Arsenal versus Newcastle.
3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal. Okay, Man City versus Spurs. Saturday at 5:30.
2-2.
That's a good one. West Brom versus Man United. Sunday.
West Brom versus Man United.
Tough one, isn't it?
1-0 Man United.
1-0 to the United. Okay, Bournemouth versus Liverpool. Last season it was 4-3. That was a
Bournemouth
chaotic
versus
one.
Liverpool.
Yeah, that's 4:30.
Bournemouth versus Liverpool.
Liverpool should win.
2-1 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool. No madness in that.
There will be madness. There will be madness.
All right, Monday Night Football. Everton versus Swansea City.
3-0 Everton.
3-0 Everton.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. It looks like Swansea are dead in your books.
Swansea will be relegated. Mark my words.
Wow. Okay, right. So let's go through tonight's games. I'm a little too stunned to believe that. Let's go through tonight's games. Let's start off. Newcastle versus Everton. That's at 7:45 tonight.
Newcastle Everton tonight. 1-0 Newcastle.
1-0 Newcastle. Okay, Southampton Leicester.
1-1.
1-1. Swansea Man City.
6-0 Man City.
Oh goodness me. 6-0.
I'm expecting this game to be over by halftime. At
6-0.
least 3 by halftime.
Wow. Liverpool versus West Brom. That's at 8 p.m. tonight.
Liverpool West Brom 2-0 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool. Okay. Spurs versus Brighton.
3-0 Spurs.
Okay. United, Man United and Bournemouth tonight.
Man United play at home.
Yeah, they are at Old Trafford.
United to win by 3-1.
3-1. Okay. And our star game, our featured game, West Ham versus Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal. You don't think West Ham will find anything?
No, they won't.
But you're just talking about emotion.
They won't. Arsenal don't drop teams. They don't drop points against teams like West Ham.
Okay.
They know how to play these type of matches. And like I'm saying, there's a very high chance that West Ham will come into this game feeling that they've
beaten
high
Chelsea,
on confidence from Chelsea, so they will be a little foolhardy in this game.
All right, let me go through some of the messages. Kojo Tony, hi Kojo Tony, who was our winner a few weeks ago, wasn't he? He says, guys, the league is won in May and not in December. Okay, dogs. Desmond says we should review La Liga. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Amanda Mutalatanko, he's responding to Kojo Tony that Man City have proved that they've won the league in December. United should fight for second. Okay. Kojo Tony comes back to respond. He says, this is the Premier League. Expect the unexpected. Okay. FBK Benny says, okay, this is the Premier League. So the guys are having a bit of an exchange there. One day, Cole Nana Odro says, that's not football. Football is played to be enjoyed, and not kicking your opponents like what Pogba and Co have been doing. Wow. Okay. Nicholas Tamate says, the EPL has remained blue for the 5th time running after City beat United. As long as you wear blue, you have a chance. Okay. Adamu Yusuf Zomra says, please tell Mourinho to allow the players to kick the Man City guys the next time we meet, okay? Stephen Body says, I agree with Benjamin. The bullying and shackling of Man City players is what Herrera and Matic could not do. Amani Mutalatako returns. He says, let's see what Spurs will do this weekend. Desmond Homer says, what of Coutinho? It could have been Coutinho in Silva's place. Okay. Idris Alba Abdullah says, when the City players are training, you hear from their coach saying the quality of the pass is more important. Okay. Kofi Adom is asking if we don't like Swansea. It looks like Ben doesn't like Swansea that much. Oyedele Chukuma is asking if we can follow Ben's prediction. Well, I don't know. Ben is a top predictor. Sometimes gets it wrong, but hey, I'm sure if you follow, you'll get it right. And Michael Oseo says, you guys are doing a good job. Thank you very, very much, Ben. So we'll hold you to your prediction.
You should.
Next week we'll be back.
You should.
We are on tape. We'll replay the tape.
You should.
But that was Benjamin Nketsia. We'll be back later tonight for the Premier League game involving Arsenal and West Ham, or West Ham taking on Arsenal at the East London Stadium. But that's our preview show for this week. The matches are live tonight and through the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night. Remember that as the Christmas schedule is getting more difficult, more packed, and more intense, the action still remains right here on City 97.3, your home of the Premier League in Ghana. My name is Nathan Kwao. This has been another Premier League preview show, proudly brought to you by Premium Bank and Betway, and proudly supported by Vodafone and Guinness. We're out. We'll catch you next week.